T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here's your career affirmation. You're going to rock that interview and get that job. Hello, happy Thursday. This is episode 20. I'm Anna Morgan, your career BFF, rescuer of animals and careers, founder of the BFF Method, 2-job search strategy, and 12-step career BFF. How's everybody? I'm curious if you can see me this week. And sorry if I look super tired today. It's been a week. I don't know about you all, but there has been a lot of things going on. October is a busy month. Hello. All right. So you can see me, it seems. Hello, Dr. Scott Dell. Great to have you. My dear friend, Aaron. Hello, hello. Or that it's Thursday. I mean, Friday Eve is always a good thing. I have had some difficulty streaming to LinkedIn, so I am so grateful for the LinkedIn streaming fairies that you all can see me instead of just hear me, because last week we definitely had some minor hiccups. So each week we cover different themes from the BFF method. So that is B, behind the recruiter curtain, F, focused and fulfilling strategy, and the second F is fabulous self-love, where we talk about self-care and being in alignment with our highest self to support us as we trudge the road to our happy destiny in the job search journey and, career growth space as well. So then the fourth week is typically Ask Me Anything, where I field questions that I've received through the week or through the month. And this week is Focused and Fulfilling Strategy. So if you have any questions around general job search strategy, topics, themes, insights that you're seeing that you would like clarification by your career BFF who's in your corner, drop them in the comments below and I can field them. This is probably going to be a pretty quick broadcast as I have been deep in the recruiting seat. And those are some of the tips I wanted to kind of review with everyone today based on some trends that I'm seeing when I'm looking at talent, making decisions on who to reach out to, what questions are coming up for me, when I'm looking at a profile, and really just encourage folks who are in job search to take a moment, step back, and maybe look at a couple sections of their profile, so that they can be found first, BFF. Because there's a lot of like little nuances in the LinkedIn profile, and what it looks like on my side from the LinkedIn recruiter seat is very unique. And that view is, where you build it on your side to make sure that it has the right keywords, that you have the right locations, and your work preferences included in that profile. So that is what we are going to briefly talk about. Thank you for being here. And we will get started. It's so strange. I can't see how many people are here. Like usually on the live, it gives you like the number. But I'm okay with that. All right. So you all know that I am a recruiter by day and job search strategy coach by night. And I look at thousands of LinkedIn profiles a day. It feels like maybe not quite thousands, but probably push the envelope on 1,000 when I'm deep in my sourcing activities. So when you build out your profile, one of the areas that I wanted to make sure that you all remember to highlight is the work preferences section. And what I'm thinking about doing is just kind of showing you from my profile what that looks like, which might be a little bit tricky since I am not looking for work and I won't be able to look at myself on the LinkedIn recruiter side. But there's a couple things that recruiters look at that help us decide if we are going to take action to message you. And one of those areas is in regards to your work preferences, and the areas that you are wanting to work. So if you haven't done this, I would definitely recommend that you go in when you mark yourself that you're open to work, that you update those preferences. And I'm trying to figure out how I might be able to do that on my profile, which is a little, all right, I think I can do this. Here we go. Going to present, share screen. Got it. And I want to share this screen. Oh, well, hold on. We're going to back out of that. I'm going to put this on the second screen so it makes more sense. Anybody have any great news they want to share? I always like to hear good news, where you're having success, any wins that you are experiencing. And again, any questions that you may have, drop them in the chat. Okay, everybody good to be able to see what I'm doing here? So on your main profile, you have these buttons right underneath your headline. And when you mark that you're open to finding a new job, it's going to tell you what types of, job titles, workplaces, job locations. This is a big thing that I've noticed as I'm trying to recruit nationwide. So if you can, add some depth to this, really helps the recruiters decide, like, hey, Erin might be open to relocating to Atlanta, those types of things. I also encourage you, when you're putting in your titles for the types of positions that you're looking for, max out all 5 position titles. So for me, I might put recruiter. I might put professional recruiter or senior recruiter. Senior recruiter. And then because I do consulting, I could do senior recruitment consultant. I could do senior human resources recruiter. So, recruitment consultant, I could do lead recruiter. So you really want to make sure that you max out these keywords because that's what we build our searches on, right? And then your workplaces, on-site, hybrid, or remote. And then your job locations on-site. So on-site in Atlanta, probably couldn't go, much further. I don't know. I could put Marietta because I live here. But this place for remote, I've been encouraging my clients, like if you work in tech, maybe think about the locations that have big tech hubs. So, that could be San Francisco, that could be Denver, Colorado. I think it's Austin, Texas as well. Listing those areas for remote could also pull in, some better search results for you. And then obviously you can put immediately or actively applying, and then your job types. And one of the things that I have found that I've had questions when I've been looking at profiles on the backside of LinkedIn Recruiter is, would this person be open to relocation? So, getting messages. So if there is a way, like if you're a candidate and you would be open to a company relocating you or, putting together some kind of package that would allow you to do, because companies are also moving towards, a remote focused company, but they may want people to, fly into the headquarters, a couple times a quarter. If you can speak to that probably in your about section, that would be super helpful for recruiters, especially because, we want access to top talent and we don't want to waste your time either. And I do like to obviously try to respect people when they say, remote only or looking at those preferences. Let's see. I try, but I also trust my gut where I will personalize the message. And I actually had this with a gal that I reached out to this past week, and she had specified New York, Austin, Texas, and like one other place in Paris. And so what I did is I customized the message, the outreach message to her, because her background was like perfect for this role that I was sourcing for. And I personalized the message. I said, I acknowledge that you listed these areas. And I said, Atlanta is kind of like a mini New York. And I said like one other thing to try to like match kind of what I thought she was looking for in a city. But then I made a joke that, Atlanta can't really compare to Paris. And she wrote back that it was one of the best outreach messages that she had received, thanked me for the message, and politely declined an opportunity in Atlanta. But one, it built rapport with a connection that, I didn't know before. Two, it, allowed me to deepen the relationship and remind her if, great people know other great people. And if she knew anyone in this space that she was welcome to give my, email or my phone number so I could connect with them. So, that's another thing. Step 2 is not only have your location preferences updated, but if you are open to relocation, put that in your about section if you're publicly looking, and then try to respond to the messages that you get from recruiters, because recruiting is all about timing and building relationships. And, just because that position wasn't perfect for her this week doesn't mean that because, she had a positive experience with me, that she may come back, 6 months from now and say, hey, I remember talking to you about this role. I'm now interested in making a move, or I know a great person that has these skill sets and I want to make an introduction. Oh, I've been talking a lot this week. All right. We are celebrating Morgan G. She had an interview this morning, 2 days after learning her contract with Amazon will end November 4th. It's encouraging to have immediate activity in finding a new role. Congrats. I am very happy, sending good job snatching vibes your way. And yeah, staying active. And that's the power of LinkedIn and your personal brand being visible. So when you need to call on your community and say, hey, connections, I'm in transition, I'm here, would love to keep networking and explore opportunities, you have earned that right to call on your community. All right, so what else is important on your profile for recruiters so you can be found first? I always love a great about section because, resumes. I have very strong feelings about resumes lately, and I'm going to share those feelings with you all here soon, but it might involve a movement of lighting them on fire. But with a profile, and here's the other thing, modern day recruiters are looking at more profiles than more resumes. Modern day recruiters are looking at LinkedIn profiles more than resumes. So all you folks out there that are spending all your time editing and customizing your resume, spend a little more time on your profile, telling a great story of who you are in service of where you want to go, not just about what you've done. All the, obviously quantifiable stories are super valuable, but who are you? Storytelling sells, connection sells. And the whole purpose is to start more conversations. So have a robust about section, a hook, where you've been, what you've done, what people say about you, what your super strengths are, what your tech stack preferences are. And then you can even list out like your dream position titles. Again, if you can't publicly be looking for work, that looks, is a little bit trickier. But if you are part of the green banner crew, use that space to really make it like an impact statement to your resume. And then today, or now, I don't know when this came out, but you can also edit your skills section to show up the skills under your experience section. That looks really nice when we are viewing your profile in Recruiter, because we're not necessarily looking for a recap of your resume in the experience section. I advise my clients to basically do kind of a brief summary of the major, what their primary purpose was in that position. Because I feel like if we give it all away, if we just copy and paste our resume into the experience section, we're leaving too much out there for people just to be like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks, move on. I feel like the LinkedIn, profile can tell a story. It gives enough intrigue. It shows a little bit of your personality, your vibe, your core competencies, your accomplishments, and it's a vehicle to start more conversations. So definitely go and audit your skills. This is another area where people are like, yay, I have like 47 or 50 skills. I'm good. 90% of the time when I go through a skills audit with my clients, they're like, oh my gosh, why do I still have, some weird skills still listed there? So that's a really good reminder, because as you refresh those skills, again, it helps bring you up in the right searches to be found first when recruiters are looking for you. The last thing, and I don't think we give this enough credit, is your recommendations section. So I was taught with LinkedIn, the easiest way to get recommendations from great people is to go give a recommendation to someone else. I would say more than 95% of the time, people reciprocate the gift of a recommendation. So if you don't have recommendations updated, in the last couple of years, definitely take the time to request a recommendation or go give a recommendation to a past, manager or supervisor that you would like to hear from. When you're making the recommendation, when you're asking for the recommendation, a best practice to make it easy for the person to do the recommendation is give them a little direction on what to focus in the recommendation. So if I were going to ask Aaron to write me a recommendation, I would hit the ask for recommendation button. I would identify how and where we work together. And then in the message, I would say, hey, Aaron, I'm elevating my profile to move into, a job search. Would you please highlight on my ability to advise people through salary negotiations? So then she can take that one aspect and really, speak to that. And when we give direction, it again increases the likelihood that someone will, do the recommendation for us, and it makes it easy for them to grab onto the content that makes sense because we've kind of served it up on a platter for them. The reason I recommend that is because, if you're just like, hey, can you make a recommendation for me? They're kind of like, well, what should I focus on? So that is my 2 cents on recommendations. So just to recap, step 1, update your open to preferences, max out all 5 titles, and make sure your locations are updated and that you've added the relevant locations for hybrid, on-site, and or remote. Then you also want to build out your about section with some storytelling elements, but also chunk out your text, make it easy to read. And at the bottom of your about section, you want to tell people what to do. Should they DM you to interview? Should they want to set up a coffee chat? How do you want them to get a hold of you? So don't just like cut that about section off with, your skills. Like tell your audience how they can engage with you, because LinkedIn is a social media platform. We want to have conversations. Then you want to make sure that you audit your skills, that they are up to date, and that you click off where you did those skills in each position that you had. Clean up the content in the experience section. Don't overwhelm your reader. I suggest having kind of a overreaching kind of impact of what you did in that role. And then lastly, ask for a recommendation. But the easiest way to get recommendations is to go out and give them. Any questions at this moment? Questions? Oh, I talk fast when I'm tired. I realize that. I've not been sleeping super great this week. We had a lot of construction done in my house this week because we had to put all new pipes throughout my house. Super fun. I've learned more about piping than I really cared to know. So anyway, I'm out because guess what I have to do and what I need to do. And what I'm super excited to do is go out and recruit amazing job seekers like all of you that are here today. So update those profiles, message me if you have questions. Next week is the second F of the BFF method, fabulous self-love. And I've been kind of getting into this rhythm of doing some guided meditations during the Fabulous Self-Love week. So you never know what you will get, except an invitation to always come home to yourself, to take care of yourself in service of being, the best men and women and people that the universe has intended you to be. So I am so grateful for this community. Thank you for those of you that show up week after week. I'm always open to suggestions. If you have feedback, questions that you would like me to address, any insights, I'm always open to your feedback. And I will see you all next week. Have a great one.